Who is the greatest billionaire entrepreneur of all time? You guys get to decide. Today is Elon Musk against John Paul DeJoria. Up first is Elon Musk, who has a net worth of $21.4 billion. He made his breakthrough as a co-founder of PayPal. Now he's known as the CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and is one of the richest people in the world. He wants to reduce the risk of human extinction by establishing a human colonies on Mars. He's up against John Paul DeJoria, who has a net worth of $3.4 billion. He used to be homeless and lived in his 20-year-old car. He worked as a janitor, door-to-door encyclopedia, and insurance salesman. Today, he's best known as a co-founder of the Paul Mitchell line of hair products and the Patron Spirits Company. Okay, let's kick it off with tip number 1 from Elon Musk. Have a high pain threshold.
And one does have to be focused on the short-term and money coming in when creating a company, because otherwise the company will die. So I think that a lot of times people think like creating a company is going to be fun. I would say it's not. It's really not that fun. I mean, there are periods of fun, and there are periods of where it's just awful. And particularly if you're the CEO of the company, you actually have a distillation of all the worst problems in the company. There's no point in spending your time on things that are going right. So you only spend your time on things that are going wrong. And there are things that are going wrong that other people can't take care of. So you have like the worst. You have a filter for the crappiest problem in the company, the most pernicious and painful problem. So I wouldn't say I think you have to feel quite compelled to do it, and have a fairly high pain threshold. And there's a friend of mine who says like starting a company is like staring into the abyss and eating glass. And there's some truth to that. The staring into the abyss part is that you're going to be constantly facing the extermination of the company. Because most startups fail. It's like 90%, arguably 99% of startups fail. So that's the staring into the abyss part. You're constantly saying, okay, if I don't get this right, the company will die. It should be quite stressful. And then the eating glass part is you've got to do the problems. You got to work on the problems that the company needs you to work on, not the problems you want to work on. And so that's you end up working on problems that you'd really wish you weren't working on. And so that's the eating glass part. And that goes on for a long time.
So how do you keep your focus on the big picture when you're constantly faced with, we could be out of business in a month?
Well, it's just a very small percentage of mental energy is on the big picture. Like you know where you're generally heading for, and the actual path is going to be some sort of zigzaggy thing in that direction. You try not to deviate too far from the path that you want to be on, but you're going to have to do that to some degree. But I don't want to diminish the. I mean, I think the profit motive is a good one if the rules of an industry are properly set up. So there's nothing fundamentally wrong with profit. In fact, profit just means that people are paying you more for whatever you're doing than you're spending to create it. That's a good thing. and if that's not the case, then you'll be out of business, and rightfully so. Because you're not adding enough value.
Tip number 1 from John Paul DeJoria, believe in yourself.
Well, you get there through, one, believing in yourself. As you know so well, when we started, we had $700, made it day-to-day barely, but we believed what we did was the very, very best. And it goes on the premise, if you realize that you're going to run across a lot of rejection. I say this time in and time out. Be prepared for the rejection, no matter how bad it is. Don't let it overcome you or influence you. Keep on going towards what you want to do no matter what, no matter whether your bills are paid, not paid, someone says no 1,000 times. Again, go back to be as enthusiastic on door number 100 as you were on door number 1, but believe in yourself. And it's really all about knowing you have a great service or a great product that'll put you in the reorder business. So you're never selling, you're trying to get it in someone's hands, whether it's a service or a product, knowing it's so darn good that they're going to want to order it again or tell a friend about it to order it. And that's the real secret there.
Tip number 2 from Elon Musk, take risks.
One of the most difficult choices I have ever faced in life was in 2008. I think I had maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. And I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. When you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, or building something, it's like a child. And so it's like, which one am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
And tip number 2 from John Paul DeJoria, be in the reorder business.
Any business you're in, whether it's a service or whether it's a product, or anybody you work with that has a product or a service, always make sure that your product or your service is of the highest quality you could ever make it, because you do not want to be in the selling business. You want to be in the reorder business. Granted, you've got to tell somebody what your idea is, and how it's going to cure something they may need. But the quality has to be so good that after that they want to reorder it, or if it's a one-time item, tell friends about it. And if people think in whatever they're doing in life, be in the reorder business, whether it's with a personal relationship, whatever you see right now, you're going to see again and again and again. It's going to enhance. There'll be ups and downs. Here's my product. It's so darn good, you're going to use it. We started Paul Mitchell. We had no money, but we knew our product was so darn good that if we got in the hands of enough people, they're going to be reordering it because it was that quality. Service the same way.
Now, I've got a special bonus clip from both Elon Musk and John Paul DeJoria, but before that, I want to know, who do you vote for? Who is the greatest billionaire entrepreneur of all time? Who moves on to round 2? Let me know in the comments below.
You are unusually fearless and willing to go in the face of other people telling you something is crazy. And I know a lot of pretty crazy people, you still stand out. Where does that come from, or how do you think about making a decision when everyone tells you this is a crazy idea? Or where do you get the internal strength to do that?
Well, first of all, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So it's not as though I just have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly. But there are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear.
So speaking of important things,
like, people shouldn't think people shouldn't think, well, I feel fear about this and therefore I shouldn't do it. It's normal to feel fear. Like, there have to be something mentally wrong if you didn't feel fear.
So you just feel it and let the importance of it drive you to do it anyway?
Yeah. Actually, something that can be helpful is fatalism, to some degree. If you just accept the probabilities, then that diminishes fear. When starting SpaceX, I thought the odds of success were less than 10%. And I just accepted that actually probably I would just lose everything. But that maybe would make some progress. If we could just move the ball forward, even if we died, maybe some other company could pick up the baton and keep moving it forward, so that would still do some good. Yeah, same with Tesla. I thought the odds of a car company succeeding were extremely low.
Successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. And if you have to work Saturdays and Sundays or late at night or get up early in the morning, just do it. When I started John Paul Mitchell Systems, I had a few $100 in my pocket. I actually lived in my car for the first couple of weeks. Then that $700 went a long, long way.
And if you want to cast your vote in the Sam Walton versus Lee Ka-shing battle, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And we started doing strange things like cranking up ice cream machines on the sidewalk on Saturday night, running popcorn.